Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, an extra big welcome to you. Thank you for clicking on this video. I hope you will enjoy. My name is Tristan Cappel, and I am a 12 seasons personal color analysis. I'm a 12 seasons personal color analysis bright winter, and I like to make videos about personal color analysis, personality, and more. So if you enjoy this video, I hope you will stick around and consider subscribing. Today we are going to talk about why sometimes people that are bright seasons get mistyped as muted or soft seasons before they have confirmed that they are a bright season. This has been a video that's pretty highly requested in the comments, and I've done a lot of digging into why I think this might be. A lot of my reasonings are going to be more anecdotal and subjective, so let me know if you can think of any other reasons that this might happen, but I'm going to give you my opinion and you can tell me what you think. Let's go ahead and get started by talking about what are some of the qualifiers for a muted or a soft season. What do these people tend to look like and what colors do they look best in? So if you are a muted season and you are overall soft, you will have low chroma. So the colors that will look best on you will be very desaturated and will have a lot of gray in them. And they will be about medium value, so they won't be very light or very dark. And your coloring is overall going to be soft. That's what is going to pair best with you. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that to look at you, you will look dusty or muted or soft. Soft seasons often tend to have pretty bright eyes. They can also have dark hair even. So it's easy to see why people might mistype them or mistype a bright as a soft season. So people that have soft or muted coloring will actually not look soft and muted and toned down in the right colors for them. They're actually going to look vibrant and clear and healthy and alive in their best colors. So I've created this little collage of some celebrities, and these are all soft seasons. They're all soft summers or soft autumns. But as you can see by looking at them, they all look very they have like a life to them, and they really pop out in these colors. And these colors aren't overly saturated or overly bright. They're actually pretty subdued and softer compared to the colors that we would find in the bright seasons. But they all look super stunning and very clear and in focus. So why do bright seasons get mistaken for soft seasons? I think that the answer is maybe two or threefold. I have a couple different ideas for why this might be the case. I think the first thing is people not totally understanding color harmony and how that works on a person and what kind of coloring is naturally found in nature, right? So there might be a stereotype of a bright season having very pale skin and very dark hair, and that's naturally what you find. But if we look at samples of people that have been, like real people, not celebrities, that have been analyzed in personal color analysis, you'll actually find a lot of variation in their skin, hair, and eye color. And it's not necessarily the stereotypes that we find. I also think there's a bit of personal bias and gatekeeping around bright seasons, just because these colors are so saturated and bright and exciting, I guess. It's hard to believe that seeing someone in a photo online that they would really be able to carry those colors or really be able to pull them off when they actually can. I think there's also an issue with how much color is enough, right? So bright seasons will look pretty fine in any other colors that aren't quite their season, as long as they're in the right undertone. So like, for instance, a bright winter wearing a soft summer maroon or burgundy, that's going to look fine on them. It's not going to look totally off, but they can really handle so much more saturation and more color and more clarity. And that is the role of your color analyst, right? Is to see how far you can go, or to see if you are easily overwhelmed by those bright colors. So if you're assuming that a person who should be wearing soft or muted colors will look dusty and muted and understated or gray in their colors, you're absolutely going to mistype folks that are bright as soft folks, because we absolutely will look dusty and muted and underdone and kind of faded in those colors. But that's really not the goal that we're going for with color analysis, right? A bright season in any color that is not high enough in chroma will make them look softer, dustier, more muted, and just fine. But that's really not what we're after here. We're after color harmony, true color harmony. So that means like we need to up the color to really get to the full potential of the bright season. So overall, we really want the intensity of the color to match the intensity of the person and the undertone of that person's natural coloring. So simply put, muted colors will make bright seasons look muted and look soft. Soft colors will make people with soft coloring look vibrant, clear, and alive and more natural and harmonious. Bright colors will visibly overwhelm those soft and muted people. It will make them sort of hard to see, right? Because the bright color is so overwhelming and overpowering on them that that's really all we're seeing, and the person is hidden by that color. Whereas if we tone the color down on them, they are revealed. And it's the opposite for a bright season. They're revealed the more we turn up the color. So bright colors on a bright season will make them appear vibrant, clear, healthy, alive, and actually way more natural, even though those colors, to look at them, seem kind of a lot and a little scary and a little too bright for most people, which they are. They'll look very, very normal and natural on a bright season. So it's really contextual, right? Based on the person and the colors that are found in their natural makeup, in their skin, hair, and eyes. So let's talk a little bit about personal bias. I see this with people that are trying to type others online. Looking at the color analysis subreddit, I think there's a lot of mistyping going on in there. That's not to say that there's not a lot of good analysis happening and accurate analysis happening, but I do see a lot of opinions, which maybe we can get into in another video. I would like to examine some of that, but I think it's hard to see also personally what might be possible when we look at ourselves in the mirror and we're trying to self-type. It's hard to believe that we really could be someone that can pull off those intense bright colors. You know, when you hear the description of a bright winter or a bright spring, I think many of us have a tendency to be like, well, that couldn't be me, because like that seems like a very intense look, or someone that would look very striking to look at. But if all you've ever worn are colors that are more toned down and have never been that highly saturated, you might not know really your potential, I guess. And I think it's hard to admit that to ourselves. And I know that's how I was when I first started learning about personal color analysis. I got really into it and I read the description of a bright winter and I thought, well, I don't think I'm that high contrast, right? I don't have jet black hair and super pale skin and bright blue eyes. I didn't think of myself that way, even though I might appear like that in my actual colors. So when I was learning about this, I had a sense that I could wear more saturated colors. I knew that those things tended to look better on me, but I really ruled out bright seasons because I wasn't sure if that was quite right. So I started to gravitate towards seasons like dark winter or dark autumn because I saw that they had some like saturated purples in there and I thought that looked good on me. And I also looked at soft summer because I was told that they usually had, you know, bright blue eyes, or they can tend to have that kind of coloring with brown hair, which is what I have. And so I would wear some of those colors, those burgundies. But if you look at pictures of me from before, when I was wearing those softer colors or those darker colors, I really looked like dragged down a little bit, or like a little bit blurred. Like it wasn't as clear. You couldn't see my features as well. And I didn't look as like polished and healthy as I do now when I'm wearing my bright winter colors, and I can see the difference in the mirror. But I didn't know that until I got analyzed, and I don't think I would have allowed myself personally to have those bright winter colors until I got done. So I also often see people in the comments say stuff like, those colors fit with your personality, but I didn't think that before. I did not own any of these bright colors. I did not think that I was a person that could wear that or that had high contrast like the celebrity examples, but it turned out that I did. And so now those are the colors that I have and that I wear. So I think there's like a bit of a societal impact sometimes when it comes to bright seasons. Like if this one color doesn't work, then I should probably go subtler. Like maybe that's too much. So I'm gonna play it back and go farther into a more muted palette because it seems like the right direction, right? I think there's a fear of being too much or allowing others to be a lot. I think there's also this added stereotype of bright seasons, and I think especially with bright winters, having the jet black hair and the super light skin and being like high contrast and being the most intense season with like very pigmented hair. And I think we can get confused with the celebrity typing because they often have artificially colored hair and their makeup is professionally done, so they might look a lot more intense than an actual bright season you would encounter in real life. And it can certainly happen that a bright winter has very dark hair and light skin, but there's a lot of variation in between. Actually, bright winters can tend to have like a golden brown or like a tea colored natural hair coloring. I know that's kind of the natural color that I see in my hair. Or for instance, on a bright spring, if we don't see bright auburn hair, we might not immediately assume that they are that season, or we might assume that they are an autumn of some sort because they have that warm coloring. But bright springs even can have jet black hair and very light skin, and they're not necessarily winters, which is where that stereotype would belong, right? And understanding bright seasons, you have to remember that they exist in the context, right? They are lighter and brighter seasons than their surrounding sister seasons, right? True winter is darker and cooler than bright winter. Bright winter is brighter and lighter. So it's not going to necessarily be as intense in terms of contrast between black and white. So when we are a bright season, and we mistype ourselves and choose to wear colors that are not quite intense enough for us, all that is going to do is make us look more drowned out, more sunken in, more sallow, grayer, dustier. All the different colors can have different effects on us, but it's going to have an effect of not quite, right? We really need the color to be amped up all the way to look normal, just baseline normal, even if the colors seem very intense on their own. Let's look at these pictures that I put together of Megan Fox in a couple different versions of colors. So in this first one, she's in this soft summer, very muted green. It's very, very soft. It's like a sage, like a dusty sage. And she has these lighter highlights in her hair. Her makeup is very subtle. She has like a nude lip on, not a lot of eye makeup. And just to look at this picture, I mean, she's a beautiful woman. She looks pretty good, right? It's okay. But if you know something about personal color analysis, you would know what to look for. You're seeing there's a little bit of graying on her upper lip. She's not quite as clear and crisp and defined as she could be. I think if you were to look at this photo from a color analyst perspective, you would think, can she handle more color? What would happen if we turned up the volume a little bit? So then if we look at this next photo, she's in a gray t-shirt, which is a little bit better because it's a cooler color. It has a little bit more saturation, still kind of medium value, and her hair is much darker and one tone. So those things are working in her favor, but we're still seeing that like graying, muting, softening effect because the color doesn't have quite enough brightness and saturation for her level of coloring, even though it does look a little bit better. It's just a little bit undone. She looks fine. It's that example of like, you're gonna look fine in any other color because color is a part of what makes you pop. But then if we look at this last photo of her in this blue and teal top, it's just undeniable the effect that the brightness of that color has on her. Suddenly she's really in focus. She has a lot of pigment, a lot of color in her lips and her cheeks. Her eyes are really vibrant. Her hair looks shinier and it's more defined. It looks almost cleaner. There's just like a defined, vivid look about her that you get. And it's the same kind of vivid, defined look that we saw in the soft seasons. The women that are soft in coloring, wearing their soft colors, they all look very vibrant and vivid and alive, but they're in the appropriate amount of chroma for them, which is why this is really cool. We compare this photo of Megan Fox in the bright cobalt blue top next to the sage green dress with the highlighted hair and the more subdued makeup. It's like no contest which one is better, even though she looks fine in the other one. We just needed to turn that up. So I hope that gives you a good demonstration of why bright seasons might get mistaken as clear seasons. It's just having an eye for potential, I think, and being able to see the difference between a color that softens someone versus overwhelms someone and being able to make that distinction. So it's really like developing your eye for what the wrong colors do to a person, whether bright or soft. So overall, the goal of personal color analysis and color harmony, I think, is to find the colors that make us as individuals appear our most natural, our most vibrant, our most healthy, alive, and defined. Every person will have that striking, vivid, beautiful skin, beautiful hair look in the colors that are best for them. And that's what we want to create with good color harmony. I really don't think that anyone wants their appearance to look muted or grayed or subdued. It's just that some people have natural coloring that suits those colors, that makes them come to life. You know, beige looks amazing on them. Dusty gray makes them look clear and vibrant and healthy. And I think that is so cool to be able to discover that. So yeah, I hope you learned something in this video and I hope that answers your questions. I would love to hear if you have any theories as to why bright seasons get mistyped as muted or soft seasons. And please let me know if you have any ideas for videos for the future or anything that you would like to see. I have a couple things upcoming. I'm working on a dark or deep winter best and worst of video, and I'm also working on a how to transition your wardrobe over to your season's wardrobe after you have a personal color analysis, and many more. So thank you so much for being here. If this is your first time here, I hope you enjoyed this video and would please consider subscribing before you head out. If you know anyone that likes content like this or would love to see it, please share it with your family or friends. And I hope you take extra good care of yourself. Love you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.